What is going on, everybody? This is Rawstarr of the Burbank Misfits, and currently my co-host is doing something I have no idea what he's doing, but he's not getting on the podcast right now. So until he gets on, we're just going to go ahead and start because we got to be very cautious and respectful of our guest's time. So today we have someone who has done so much in her career. I mean, she started in 2013. She's been nominated for many awards. I mean, she just won the 2020 Spank Bank Awards for a Master Missionary. She was nominated, She won Best Swaller at the Spank Awards in 2019. She won Most Appreciative Porn Superstar in 2019. She's been nominated for many Nightmoves Awards. She was the winner of the Best Adult Star Feature Dancer, the Editor's Choice in 2019 also. She won 2019 Oral Scene with Logan Long in 2019 also. I mean, she's done so much. And she's currently nominated for the upcoming 2020 Nightmoves for Best Female Performer. She's been featured in mainstream horror movies, Evil Bong 777, that's the number. And she's making love to a giant Elvis puppet. And she's done so much in her career. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know she had done, because I've met her before, but I didn't know she has done so much in her career. And I was like, well, dang. Okay. And also, if you were following us when we were only doing YouTube shows, she's actually one of the people who has actually done a YouTube show opener for us a long time ago. So that's on there too. So without further ado, the wonderful, the brilliant, the multi-talented, the awesome Jillian Janson. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming on. We were, very excited when we said we would have the opportunity to have you on. And so for everybody out there who do not know who you are, there are the sad, pathetic souls out there. Please tell them who you are.
Well, I started webcamming. I was on my free cams. I was actually kind of, sought out by my agent when I was still in high school. So I was actually older than a lot of people. I had been not necessarily held back, but I moved around Minnesota so much that when I moved to my final, place, they were like, oh, we're going to hold you back because we don't have that grade. So I'm like, okay. So I was older than everyone. By the time of May of 2013, I was already 18, and I was not even out in my junior year yet. We had ended class in June. So that whole summer I just kind of did my thing. I was a waitress at Perkins. Okay. And then a friend told me one day to kind of log on my free campus, and I did. And then
then the rest is history.
The rest is, pretty much history. But actually not really, because there's still a little bit of a story to that. So I went out to Cali. I made double than what my agent said I would. I met all these amazing companies from Penthouse, Hustler, Brazzers, and, Reality Kings. So I just done everything. And within the 2 weeks I was there, that I went back home to Minnesota, and my senior year started, and I kind of kept it on the down low for about until homecoming. And then I went to my football game, and I remember the pictures with my girlfriends and stuff, and then the dance and stuff. And then after that, there's nothing. It's just porn, because I decided to drop out. I was skipping school and enough at that point that my mom even suggested hey, I'll go sign papers that we need to with your dean or whatever. You are not happy. I want you to be happy. And she supported me in my career. And I told her within the same day that hey, Mom, I'm on webcam. And then the next day I was like, hey mom, this guy wants to fly me out to Cali. She was like, okay, all right. Well, she was like, well, did you sign a contract? Did you read it over? Did you read everything? You know, she asked me, like, are you sure that's the company that you want to go with? Are there other agencies? Are there better ones out there? She was really digging in, like, is this what I really want to do? And I went for it. And yeah, I moved out to Cali within like my first 6 months. I was in the model house. I did the whole model house thing. And then I decided to get my own place in Hollywood. It was awesome. I loved it. I was in the most happening spot. I was meeting, you know, all the artists and stuff and going to all the clubs and getting in by all the promoter friends that I had. And yeah, it was awesome. And then eventually I just realized, like, I don't really need to do that. I got over my party phase and I just wanted to focus on my career. And about that time is when I started feature dancing. So this is like 2015. And I started, you know, just branching out in as many ways as I could. I wanted to be, you know, in porn. And a lot of people were like, oh, you're such a like runway model type. Like you should be, you know, like doing mainstream. And I'm like, I would love to. I don't know if I can mix, but I would love to. And I ended up, you know, doing some, you know, like mainstream films, like you just mentioned, the Evil Bong 777. We just did another movie actually before quarantine and all that happened. I went back to my hometown and we shot all the crews from there. And so it's really cool that I was able to be a part of. It was my third mainstream movie, and like
is that film Alien Cosmic Crush?
And it's coming out December 4th. I officially got the text today.
Okay.
So
is that the one called Film Alien Cosmic Crush? Okay. Yep. I had it down here, but it wasn't in context.
Because it was like up in the air. We weren't really sure.
I'm in my notes. Like I have a list of notes right here, and it wasn't in context. I'm like, when the heck was that for again? I forget. But okay.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Context is back again. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's a very interesting star story, because I know like they usually try to make sure that you're not in school, that age school at the time, you know. Yeah. And like you said, like we were talking earlier before the podcast started, you're from Minnesota. So I don't know how it is in Minnesota, but I do know people who were in like Kentucky area, because I'm from the Midwest also, who from Kentucky area and ventured to Indiana, and they couldn't use half their credits. And it put some people who I knew that should have been juniors as freshmen.
Yeah.
So it basically just, you know, made them like stay in school longer because they don't have the same curriculum, you know. And
I was pretty much, I would have already graduated, gone down done all that, my cap and gown, and then had like a whole year to chill and then been in porn, you know. But I was glad that I was kind of like that girl that was like still kind of in high school, like being, you know, being a porn star type thing. I loved it. I wouldn't change anything. There was times where I was like, you know, oh, I was a lot thicker. I wish I kind of like grown into like my like toned up body or whatever. And then I got that toned up body and then I missed my thickness, you know? So like, I'm glad I was in when I was in. I love looking back and like looking at like when I was 18 and seeing how I've progressed throughout all these years. Like I
seen a picture that you retweeted a few days ago. That was a picture from 2013 to like now. I think it was a picture of like someone made a what do they call it? A collage of every year.
Yeah.
And you could see the whole
people about my hair, because I was like, I'm kind of like in, you know, my mind about what I want to do with my hair, and people were like, oh, this is the look that I like from this year, and this year, and that's what that was about. But yeah, no, I love when people do that. I love when people post, you know, and kind of like remind me of why I'm here, where I came from, and you know, because we kind of do get that mentality sometimes. Like we forget how lucky we are to be in such an industry that is so open and welcoming, and we get to be our own bosses and do whatever we pretty much want, and be able to have a voice and be able to speak out and people actually listen, so like I love this industry. I love like everything. So I love, connecting with my fans. Like that's number one. I love that we have the sites that we have, like OnlyFans and Sex Panther, and we have ways to communicate, especially in times like these with quarantine, with everything going, like we said, beginning, of this, that, we haven't done really anything since March, and it's like, luckily we've had that getaway or that escape, not just us as performers, but fans as customers, and being able to have that, luckily I'm able to, go back to, to shooting kind of like I was before. But everyone's a lot more, like we were really, really, not to say uptight, but really professional and very like, really, when it comes to tests, HIV, STD, like everyone's got to get tested every 2 weeks, or, like now with COVID, you got to get tested. If you're working every other day, you got to get tested every day type thing. So it's a lot more like mentality wise, you got to get ready, prepare yourself. But it's so good to be back on set and actually like be reminded again of like,
yeah, but at least the test you got to get every other day. Only thing you need is the COVID one. You don't need to pay depending on what state you are in, the $190 or $200 and whatever they charge, depending on what agency you go to.
One company right now, just because it's the most convenient for me, but it's a lot with the pricing right now. Luckily, there are companies that do reimbursing on the COVID, but you got to do your own. The main panel, you got to do that by yourself. You're like, say your HIV and STD test is good for the 2 weeks, but you got to go get retested for COVID every single day. Like say if I work, tomorrow, I would have had to go and get tested today. And then say if I work the next day, I would have to quickly go get tested, before or after my shoot,
Oh, I thought the COVID one lasted for 2 days.
No, you have to go get it every day. Yeah.
That would be, oh my God.
So it's a little more tedious than it used to be, but like I'm willing to do what it takes to put my mind and my body and my soul back into what I love, because I think like a lot of people get lost when they feel kind of like stuck. And I feel like I'm someone who travels a lot. My best friend and I were constantly moving, and we're lucky because we can be people who can travel, be in a place, and then stay in that place and not really like go and be around everybody, but we can also go and be around everybody, and then that mentality, like we're good with like around each other, but we also miss our friends. So we're just like, okay, we know how important and how big COVID is, but we also know who's affecting more. Like we're safe. I feel like I even kind of had it like right after AVN, actually, because I felt like I just got the AVN flu, but it was the worst. I've never in my life had what I had like in January. So I feel like I was kind of immune to it in a way. So I was just like, okay, where are all my friends at? Let's go party. Let's go.
But I do know, like, usually that avian flu, as they call it, is usually worse than the regular flu. Because I believe
usually
go
worse
there.
than regular flu, but what I had was worse than the worst of the worst of the flu.
Wow.
Like avian, I couldn't do anything. Like I don't remember all the symptoms, but I'm pretty sure I had them all.
Oh, wow. I'm glad it didn't become tragic for you, because that's crazy.
I think my body, my immune system, it put me through enough in the year before that, because I had a lot going on with like my birth control, and a lot of guys don't understand that if we're like on edge, it's like, well, it's not us, nothing's going on. It's literally just it's kind of the same thing. I don't know what it's like, but I can kind of the best scenario I can compare to is like if you put in steroids, You know, like your body's chill, and all of a sudden you put in steroids and you jack up, and now you're just like rage. Like that's exactly kind of what it is when like I have this birth control, that it's like it's pumping in me like constantly, and it's just like sometimes I'm just like, I just need sex. I need to let all of my frustration out. I need it so bad. You know, like, and then I was going through some other things, and I'm just like, you know, also at the time when I needed it so bad, but I wasn't like, I wasn't getting booked because I was in a period of like, just, I wasn't confident. I wasn't feeling myself. I was going through a lot of like, I had like a lot of teeth, like root canals and stuff. So like I was in pain for like whole half of like 2019. And then finally, you know, we get booked up and I'm like feeling good again, dancing, traveling around, and we go to New York to see the ball drop and all that. And then, you know, that was to kind of like end the year on a good note. And then 2020 like started off like, oh, it's gonna be the year, it's gonna be the best year of like, you know, years to come, and then
2020 it came in like with so much promise. And it was like we're gonna kill Kobe, and then we're gonna stop everything from existing.
If I had a song for 2020, it would be Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, basically.
No, I'm just kidding. All right. So anyway,
I mean, you're right. You are absolutely correct. It's like it came in like it was going to be so much fun. And like honestly, for myself, I had like 7 trips planned.
Yeah.
I had a job planned up for my day job, whatever. That was gonna like I just moved. It's like if you see a box like that, I just moved, and I was gonna move here, move in general, and in April, I had so many deals planned up, and then Corona said, "I'm sorry, that is not going to happen. You're just going to have to squat where you are." Yeah. And I had to squat where I was. So
it was devastating. Like I had a anniversary feature dance up at Crazy Horse, the first club I ever danced at. The same exact dates, March 19th through the 21st. Exactly 5 years. So it's my 5th year anniversary. I was like so excited, and then they postponed it. We were about to go to San Francisco because I was hearing some, like, I don't watch the news. I'm not into politics. Like I stick to my own business. I got a lot of my own stuff going on. So like, I just stay with my own thing. And then I kept hearing it, and it just kind of like came a thing like, okay, you got to check this out. Finally turned on the news, and that's when they shut down San Francisco. And I was like, what? Okay. Now I understand why some of my shoots like we're getting postponed, because like I said, everything just kind of got back into like the groove again, just for me from, you know, my previous, you know, few months. And then I was like, okay, on set, hey, yeah, your shoot on Saturday got postponed. And then I'm like, okay, well, I got the shoot for tomorrow. And then I get off set that same day and like, oh, sorry, your shoot for tomorrow is postponed. I'm like, okay, well, I got the one for the next day. That one's good. And they're like, nope, sorry. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? And then finally I realized, looked up on the thing, and San Francisco shut down. And then, you know, my friend was saying, you know, like, you know, this is serious when they shut down casinos. And then they shut the casinos down. And I'm like, all right, so this is our new normal for a while. Like, you know, just trying to do everything that I could to keep like a routine. I would wake up every morning, like, okay, check all my messages. I would send out pictures. I would do this and then do like, I would always make sure I was constantly doing something. And then at the point is just like, okay, I'm watching literally every TV show, every series, every movie. I'm playing all the video games. I'm like, I'm still just like trying to keep myself entertained. And you know, what else do? You sleep all day, you know, go outside for a walk. You got to force yourself to do stuff, you know, and then luckily, you know, the industry finally was like, hey, you know, we're going to go back to doing our thing. We're just going to be like really, really cautious.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people were just doing the virtual, like we're talking right now over Zoom.
Right.
I know a lot of people were doing that as far as having 2 people on camera, and they're just talking to each other and they're doing whatever with each other, like virtually.
Oh yeah, my
so
Skype shows and I got a lot of custom video requests and stuff. So like I was able to keep myself entertained when I was bored. I was like, hey, does anyone want a video? Like I'm just here. I can,
I know a lot of, that's why like a lot more people were getting on the OnlyFans. And a lot of them were performers, but a lot of them were just, I'm sorry, it's Bella Thorne.
No, yeah, not being so just like diverse or like just open to like mainstream now, like that, Bella Thorne and Cardi B and Beyonce, are talking about it and on it and stuff. But it's like, we love you. Like I love Cardi B, and the last thing I want to do is say anything bad about her. But like they're good. They're doing their thing. Like are they not set up? Do they not go do billions of like dollars worth of music videos and this and that and tours? Like do they not have that money saved up that they're good? Like they know. This kind of like how I know. Like for instance, like I come from my family. We're not the richest in the world. Like we came up very like unfortunate, and so my family's still that way. So I help them when I can, because I know that they are struggling in a way that they're waiting 2 weeks to get one check when I can get 3 checks in one day. Like I know that I can make that money. I can make it happen. I can, do that, just like, I know, just like even with quarantine, it's unfortunate that it's maybe, but it's fortunate in a way that's made me kind of see and appreciate the fact that, my family and other people still go through what they go through. And, like, because I'm going through that. I can be the most, famous in someone's eyes, and they can think that, oh, she makes so much money and, oh, this and that. But we all have our moments. Like, I make my big money, but I also, when I make that money, I also spend it real quick sometimes because my bills aren't cheap. So, but I know I can make that money and it's going to be there for me the next day. Other people don't have that, and I think that they need to understand that, like, they know when all this stuff goes back to normal, they'll be able to go on their tours again. Like there's a lot of people who are working their ass off day and night on OnlyFans to barely make even $20 to $30 a night.
Yeah, and that's one thing that really pissed me off.
Bella Thorne on here making $200 for a video. She didn't even show any ass or tits on. Like, it's a little controversial.
Then they changed how they do payouts because of that. And it's like, really?
But also, but I can't hate on it because they also brought attention to, some more customers and more girls that actually want to use that. And they're like, okay, here, like, I need this, So it's like I have my obviously my pros and cons about it, but.
I just knew that, like, at the start of it, whatever, I know a lot of my friends who are not performers, who are just, everyday people, whatever, who could not work, period, because of what their job entails. Like some were just estheticians to do makeup and stuff, or they were just, massage therapists and stuff like that. And like it was the only way that they could even like see to make money, because some of these places they're supposed to like pause rent, whatever, but some of these landlords didn't give one because they need to get their money too, and some of them do not have that luxury of having like 2 jobs. That's all they have is this. So it's been a really tough time for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Puts it in perspective, and like I look at it this way. We're all helping each other. Like we need it. We need to be, this is, out of any time in the world, this is the time to be united.
Yeah, I agree with that, but
help each other.
We're going the opposite direction of being united, and it's crazy.
It is. It's unfortunate. I know. Hopefully, though, this puts us even more together. Like, it's kind of like a relationship. When you're, friend, like anything, and, you're so close to somebody, and then, it's all good, and then, like, then You know, it's like you're fighting all the time. Then, you just get 1 week apart and then everything's all good. You know, like sometimes it's just like a relationship. You need that chance or that time away from somebody to miss them and to really appreciate what you have with them and to take those things, you know, are not for granted anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So then you stop doing those little things. Like I think eventually America will be like, okay, this is just one big ass relationship. Like we all need to work together to make it work, or else we're all gonna fall apart. And other things are just gonna keep, falling down in effect with it. You know, domino effect. It's unfortunate. Like, let's pick up these pieces and play a friendly game, right?
I feel that.
Live life. We always want to be happy, make money, you know, feed our families. Like,
I mean, like, you know, I'm glad that, like, for example, for you example, like a lot of you all performers are being able to go back to work because some of the performers really, really needed it, because a lot of them live in California, and with them really pushing, you know, paying their bills and stuff like that, and just the cost of doing anything out here is a lot higher, and it's crazy for many of them who live physically in LA and they don't have to travel. And then what makes it worse is for those who do have to travel, and sometimes their expenses are not fully covered. It's like, why should I travel?
Yeah, it's hard, you know, like even living in LA, like even with the whole COVID thing, and I'm thinking about moving because I want to buy a house in Vegas. I know what I can get for what I'm paying here in this apartment, you know, and I'm over it. Like, you know, but then when I think of how even just like for me to go get tested for COVID. So for instance, you know, I got to go get tested. It's in the valleys, or like I'm near like Santa Monica. So it's an over an hour and a half sometimes, depending on traffic and what time of the day I'm going, you know, just to go get tested there and back.
Well, you're going to the one near me right now. That's the one you're talking about. Okay.
So I've got to like completely plan my entire day out, because, you know, there are other testing facilities, but unfortunately they only do COVID at the main facilities. So even though I go down the street and get my HIV test, I've got to always go out to the valley. And, you know, so it's like, I've got to go just, you know, I was like, for instance, I was on my way home from a shoot the other day and I was shooting the next day, but I wasn't doing anything in the day after, the day in between. Like I was literally just going to be around the same person. I've been around this entire time, that every time I get COVID tested, I'm clearly good every time. So, you know, they're good, you know, and I wasn't going to be around anybody, you know? So I was like, hey, can I go get tested? I'm on my way. I'm literally right by the testing place on my way home from my location. And they're like, no, you got to go tomorrow. It's got to be 24 hours before you get on set. I'm like, oh, no, like, okay, all right, fine. I'm totally okay with that. Like, it just sucks because I'm literally right here, right now. I can go, you know, get it done. I won't be anywhere like around somebody, you know, so they're like, no.
And it sucks too, because you have to pay for testing, but they also have a few like free testing locations. Yeah. And like, y'all can't even use that because it has to be done by them. And it's like, oh my goodness.
There's a whole thing about it. I do know like the reason why, but
I understand why. But it's just like, you know, as long as everybody's like, you know, or is attempting to be safe about the entire situation, you know, it just adds up. And I understand it's all about the health and, you know, the safety of everybody, because, you know, I don't want you to get it, and I know you don't want other performers to get it. So
yeah, I just like how everyone is being cautious, you know, because you walk on set, they take your temperature, you know, you don't even take your mask off, you know, before you show the test. Like you take care. I think you're taking care of yourself and others a little bit more because of this, you know, like who's to say that, you know, when you're in an airport or whatever, anyway, like you want, or in a grocery store, like you usually don't want people standing and breathing down your neck anyway. You want people to give you this distance. So now that it's mandatory, it's kind of like, okay, you know, I can kind of breathe, you know, a little bit, like, So there's pros and cons in a way. Like, it does suck having to wear a mask like constantly. Like especially if I'm wearing like lipstick or something, I gotta like cover it all up and you can't even see it. So I'm like trying to think of ways that I could like make a mask or something. Make my own business off of it.
This is what I know. I know a lot of people used a certain website, and they just made their custom. They have like a logo or their name on it, whatever, and they just been selling those like in general right now.
Yeah, you can kind of in a way profit off of it. There's other ways to. A lot of people kind of got to jump ship, but there's.
I think a lot of your fans would enjoy a Jillian Janson, like a one that just says your name on it that you sold and just says your name, like, hey, hands across her face. So
no, I'm down. I was thinking about it. This time has allowed me to kind of think about things that I wanted to do. That I kept writing it down. I had an idea in my head. I'd put it on my phone, and then. I was just, gotta go on stage, or gotta go on, plane. I have no Wi-Fi and I don't want to buy the Wi-Fi today. And just all things go in my head. Just like I was traveling just so much, or I was always on set, and like I was never at home to get the things done because all the things I needed were like at home. So I finally was able to work on things and to focus on that. And now I kind of wish I would have focused on some more things and done this and done that. And,
since everything is picking back up and you are.
Yeah. But the things that I need to do are stuff to prepare for something that we don't really know when it's going to happen anyway, like Exotica's and like AVN is virtual this year too. So it's like everything that I was intending on getting ready for would be expo stuff, convention stuff. I got to print photos, and I wanted to get more merchandise, and face masks would have been one probably, and I want to do like lighters and this and that. Like it's just a bunch of things I want to do that I still have time to do. Actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. I got time.
Yeah, I get it. And I know, like, because I work with Urban X Awards, and I know that one just was canceled in August. And like, it's still a possibility they might do something, but it's up in the air. And it's like so many award shows that are smaller award shows that don't get the notoriety of like AVN and stuff, or just being canceled, or they just don't get the funding to really put it on because no one's coming in.
Yeah, that's everybody. Even Nightmoves. Like we were. Kind of hopeful for a little bit a couple months ago that when I first heard about my nomination, they were like, they were thinking about, still doing, like a small, they would still, fly in people that really, really, really wanted to be there. Like, and I was like, you make sure you tell them like I'm one of those people, and then I just never heard anything. So,
and especially because you were nominated for Best Female Performer. It's like, I want to be there because I know I'm going to win. I got to be there for this. So
it would be really nice. I'm very humble about it because it was the very first award that I won ever, and it was at Nightmoves, and it's funny because I actually reordered so here's the funny story. I met my best friend that night, and the funny story of it was it's because I was so happy. I was on stage. I remember I even like had my phone. I even had I was recording it, and I remember like thanking my mom and stuff. And I just remember my speech, and then I remember going up there, like holding the award, going down, and then my best friend goes on stage to perform, and all these balloons start dropping down, and I start like stomping on them all, and I got so excited, but I put my award down for a second, and I picked up all the money, and when I picked it all up, I got like 13 bucks, but I looked back and my award was gone. So I freaked out. I was like drunk, drinking happily, and then it was like all sad. It was like all boo-hoo-hoo. But someone reminded me it wasn't about the award, it was about the title. And I was like, they were like, you can reorder another one, and I didn't do it until like literally just now.
That's stole your award.
I can't believe it to this day. I hope they're sitting with it on their counter or whatever, just absolutely ashamed.
I mean, like, I don't know what they do it, but did it already have your name on it?
Yes, it has my name on it.
So someone out here has an award that just on their desk somewhere that says Jillian Janson.
Yeah.
And their name is probably like Bob Lewis. And it's like, so you just stole her award just so you can say you have in your possession an award?
Yeah, I know. Or it'd be like, oh, Jillian Janson gave this to me. Oh my, no, it didn't happen. Give it back. No, just kidding.
No, I mean, yeah, give it back.
You know what? Even for shits and giggles, bring it to an award show. I will sign it. You know what? No, because I got a new one. I don't need to. Just kidding.
I mean, but it's just your principle that it was your first physical award, and it's like you did the work in order to. It's bad to say it like that. You did the work. You put in the work in order to get it.
I did.
in order to receive it, and then like I don't know if that award is fan nominated or not, fan voted rather. But if the fans voted that you should win it, whatever, that's even more important because that shows that people out here are loving what you do, loving everything that you put into your art. And yeah, because it's like people don't understand like that art performance that porn is just not sex. It's a whole art. It's an entire art form. It's not just we're gonna show up, we're gonna have sex, and then we go home. And then they just believe that y'all are all just this and that, and they put stereotypes upon you all. And they don't understand like everything that y'all go into, not including the makeup, but not including the test, not including, all the stuff you have to do on set, not including the mental aspect of how y'all got to get into the mode into the scenes, not including just, if y'all have a script, you have to read the script. You have to learn the script. You have to understand the script. You have to act out it's so much I have to do. It's not just, I'm just going to show up one day, have sex, and go home. So I really hate that someone stole that award, and I hope whoever stole it.
I appreciate it. I went through that same exactly what you just like. That's exactly what I went through, and I was like, and then someone reminded me that I'm still all those things. Yeah. It's the title of it. It's like it's not the. Again, you can buy one, you can get the award. I was like, that's not even the issue. It's like you got to remember, like that's who you are. Mm-hmm. No one can take that away from you. Exactly. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. So then I started happy drinking again. So I got blacked out and I was hanging out with my girl, Kendra Sunderland, and my best friend, Flint Dominic, ended up taking
That's what I thought you meant the entire time, but I didn't want to say his name. Because I was about to send him a message earlier today about something he posted, but I didn't because that would have been rude.
No, you're good.
No, he's a Giants fan, and he posted something about the Giants, and I was going to
watching it right now.
Yeah, and I'm a Bills fan, so my team plays in New York also, and I always joke with Giants and Jets fans, and it's only one team in New York, and that's Buffalo.
Because that's his team. Like you don't like he's not like a shit talker. Like he don't sit there like.
Oh no! Like I've joked with him before
you're giant. Just like he's not like yeah you're like no he's like that's his team. Like you don't talk about them like that.
So I mean I've joked with him before about it like on Twitter, on Instagram and stuff like that. So he knows that if I say anything, it's all in good fun. So because I'm a diehard Bills fan.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's glad that teams. I don't know about lately,
but that's what I thought you meant the entire time, but I didn't want to just assume. So yeah.
He's my best friend in the whole world. We started hanging out around 2015. And it was kind of like here and there because like I had a roommate and I was going through my own thing out in LA and he lives in Florida and he was doing his thing. And then we met for that, weekend in Nightmoves. And then right around the time I started going to Exoticas like frequently, I was like, okay, I'm going to the next Exotica in New Jersey. Like, are you going to be there? And he was like, yeah, and like before that, he also hired me. This is like right before virtual reality became a thing. Mm-hmm. And we did a scene for that. And like we hung out and then did the exoticas and stuff. And eventually I was like, yo, like I need to move. I want to do that. Like, there's a lot of things in my life this time. Like, I want to switch things up. And I told my roommate to kind of like get packing, and I was like, I need my space. And I ended up, you know, having him come over all the time, and then I was going to Florida all the time, and you know, and then we actually were about to go to, you know, San Francisco because he likes to travel with me, and he'll help me out and be my roadie and stuff. And,
yeah, I met you through him. So
and yeah. So and yeah, we got quarantined together right before, you know. So we had, like you said, you had like 7 things planned. Like we had the same thing. We had the entire year booked up. Like even in like a couple of weeks, we're supposed to go somewhere, and like I keep seeing all my calendar reminders popping up, and I'm like, you're supposed to be here. I'm like.
yeah, I looked at my Southwest thing because they gave me the money and I just had to buy the ticket. So I'm looking at all my I think I have like about $1,100 just saved in my Southwest for travel. And it's like, because like I can get sick really easy, I can't even go anywhere. And it's just gonna, and it's, I'm glad it says I have until 2021. I think it says August 2021 to use it. And it's like, okay, whenever I do decide and I can travel again, I got all that saved up. But I really wanted to go to Texas. I really wanted to make my little trip to my two trips to Miami. I was like, oh my God. My trip to North Carolina, I'm like, oh my God. Y'all just 2020 just took away all the joy. Joy that I had this year, except for moving. This is the only thing that I was able to do this year was to move.
That's it. That's exciting. I know that feeling. I'm ready for that feeling. I've been in the same place for 4 years, and I'm used to literally since like the age of like 12. Even when I was younger, we moved from house to house, like trailer park to trailer park, you know. But you know, growing up, my mom brought me from town to town to town, you know, and eventually I stayed in, you know, where, you know, I went to high school for about, you know, 2-3 years. But, you know, so this has been probably the longest besides that I've actually stayed put. So I'm kind of like anxious. I'm like I'm someone, I love change. I don't know. I love decorating a room. Like it can be the same room, but look totally different by just changing a few things up. And like my apartment, like I'm over it at this point. Like I know what I can get. I can literally have a mansion with like pools and even like, you know, like, I don't know. I can just imagine and see it in my head what I can have. And I'm just like, LA, I love LA, and it's where
it's so much cheaper to be in Vegas.
But it's so, like you feel like you're just getting sucked in, and like I don't know. I'm making a lot of this money, and it's like, but LA is it's so expensive, and with certain things, it's like it's just all going out the window. So I'm just
I know, like because where I lived at, I was there for 4 years also. But the thing is, I had a roommate and we was in a house. You know, and it's just like over time, it's like, you know, I'm getting tired of looking at these humans every day. And I have nothing against people in their dietaries.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, because of that, I live with them and they're all vegans. So I would never cook meat in the house. I would bring it there, but I would go in my room, eat my meat, and then take the meat outside and throw it in the trash. So it didn't, you know, fill the house. I did that for 4 years.
Oh man.
So I'm like, you know, at this point, you know,
I understand it. I appreciate it. I'll be like, well, you gotta go through because I couldn't do that. But I love my meat. I love my stuff.
I had a nice house. It was like it came with a whole house, and it came with its own hot tub and pool and a basketball court. It was only 3 of us there. Yeah. We had all that, and it was like after a while, it's like, you know, I can get my own house.
Yeah, so it seems great. You know, it's been a good situation, but like I
kind of did like go through. That's when I kind of injured my neck. So I was kind of like, you know, recovering from, you know, dying, physically dying twice. And like, you know, it was a good place just to squat for a while. So
that's wonderful.
But I do want to ask this because you mentioned this earlier, and I always try to find more humans, more outside of just you doing porn. What games were you playing? What video games were you playing when you were stuck?
Okay, so like even the other night we were playing GTA.
Okay.
We beat the game, so we're online. We've been online for a while now. And then I don't know, we're just dabbling in a bunch. Like we did Red Dead Redemption, Gears of War. I think it's the fifth one that I like. I like being the robot.
Okay, y'all play a lot of FPS. Okay.
What's the other one? Downloaded this fun, like, I don't know, I try to go back to like the old school, like I downloaded Pac-Man and Sonic. There was a Sonic game that I was playing for a little bit. And,
Okay.
I've been meaning to get into like Call of Duty more, but I keep downloading it and then deleting it and then downloading it. So
Okay. Yeah, you play a lot of FPS. It's like I know when I play a lot of like
combat.
I cannot FPS for the life of me.
Really?
First person shooter. I cannot do that for the life of me at all. So like I own like Metal Gear Solids, the newer ones, and other games like that, and they just sit there because they're just there. I can't do it. So what is it like to be Miss Janson outside of just what you do in front of the camera? Because there's more to you. Like what is Miss Janson's hobby?
I can be crazy a little bit. I feel like I got my moments. No, I'm just kidding. I'm really chill, to be honest. I really like to just hang out. I'll smoke my weed. I'll watch my shows, be on my phone, texting with my fans on textjillian.com or on OnlyFans, like I'm just, I've got my kitty cat. Her name is Chloe. She's the best little kitty in the world. She'll come up and cuddle me all day, every day, so. I'm sorry?
What type of cat is she?
She's just like the domestic short hair, but she's like kind of like a tuxedo cat, but gray.
Okay.
Like she's got the white stomach and then white paws and stuff, but then her like face right here is all gray.
Okay.
So I've got pictures of her online. I think she
sounds adorable. Like, cause like y'all can't see this. We don't use video. Y'all can't see this, but the way she was describing her cat, like she just had the biggest smile on her face. So you can just know how much she loves her cat. It was just so bright.
My favorite. Like I don't know. I don't have like anything. I mean, yeah, she gets her feisty moments where like I can still talk the way that I talk about her, but she did this to me on my cheek. She I don't know if you can see it. I covered it really, really good with makeup, but she scratched me. I was going through, this was around the time that I said, my year was kind of going to shit, and I had a lot of teeth issues, and so I had a tooth infection where my face swelled up. Ooh. And I had to go to the ER, and they needed to give me like morphine and all that kind of stuff. Like that's how much pain I was in. And I just got back from the hospital, and I wasn't even there that long because I don't have insurance, and they racked up my bill like crazy, even just being in that bed for like 20 minutes. And they were pretty much just giving me stuff that they already prescribed me. Obviously it was just getting quicker to me because of the IV, but so I just said I'd rather go home and rest it out. I ended up just, taking all the meds I needed to do, and I fell asleep. But I fell asleep because she's so cute. Like we do this ritual where she comes in, she lays right next to me, and like I'll be off to the side, laying on my side, and then she'll come up and post up, and like she'll literally cuddle with me. Something startled her, and she bounced up, like got up by like using my face as her backboard.
Oh wow.
She ended up jumping out of the bed, but like she ended up like just kind of grazing me enough that it was deep that I have like a permanent scar, but like I was a little mad, I was a little frustrated. It was probably the only time I've ever yelled at her, and I was like, you know, get away from me. I want nothing to do with you right now. But I think, you know, he was kind of more upset that it had happened, and I went into mama mode as soon as, like, you know, I kind of raised our voice at her. I was like, don't yell at her. She didn't mean to. Here I am all mad. And then I switch it. And then now I'm like, oh, like, I just feel bad because she doesn't know. She didn't realize what she just did. Like, you know, that was my worst fear, I think, out of anything when it comes to that. It's like, I don't want anything to ever happen to my face. Like,
I mean, that's your everything. Like, as far as what you're.
I'm not someone who would be like, oh, I gotta go put her down because of some stupid shit like that. No, she's such a good kitty. Like, it was, you know, obviously.
I mean, like you said something had startled her, so it's not like he just looked at you and just swung and like.
Exactly. Like, it wasn't it wasn't just like it was just. Startled. She just ran around the house and, you know, did her thing. But yeah, no, it's all good. Like, people don't even notice it. People tell me, I'm all the time. I was like really, really self-conscious about it, obviously, at the time when it happened. And people were like, no, you can't even see it. You can't even tell.
Yeah, I didn't, like, when you just came up to the camera, I couldn't see it.
I'm like, okay, now that I even tried, I can't even see it. Shit.
It was like, it's there. It's there.
It's there, I run.
I get it, because I have a permanent scar above one of my eyes that my sister dropped the phone on me when I was a child, and it's still there. And I'm like, that happened when I was a baby, and it's still there.
That's so weird, because I actually have this on my forehead. It's like a dent, like right there, and it was from a shovel. My sister and I were in the backyard, and we had one of those little gardening shovels, and I think she went to go like throw it at me or something, and I went to go catch it, and I ended up dunking and it ended up hitting my face. I don't know how it happened, but I've had it on my it's been like, I think everyone has some kind of like bump or scar,
like lasting scar from their childhood. So this is from this, and it's always the craziest story about how you got it. It's nothing like, you know, I just happened to fall down. It's like, yeah, I was doing this, and then I tumbled, and all of a sudden, a whole bunch of cats came at me. I ran, I flew, I jumped over a fence, I fell on a rock, and now that's the story. And it's like, it's nothing that's always, it's like, this was very basic, you know. It's always a crazy story behind it.
For the little scars, but then for the people who get like, you know, like a leg, you know, like twisted around, it's something like really small, like,
it's like,
oh, you just tripped on your shoe, okay, like,
it's like that's the big
that.
the big ones is like, yeah, I lost an arm because I tripped over a shoe, and I fell into a kitchen table. That's it.
Right? It's like, how did you? Like, what do you mean? How could you? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was hilarious. But yeah, it's because I always like, whenever someone do our show, we always try to make sure we go out with something so people can relate to them more. So the fact that you have cats, you have, you know, your story behind your cat, people always just jump into that. But I do want to ask this because we said we was going to talk about this earlier before we started, but we didn't. So you say I'm from Indiana, and you say you spent time in Indiana, Indianapolis?
I did. I moved with my real dad for about a year. It was, you know, right after I turned like 13 or 14, something like that. I was with him for a year. This was when I kind of decided, I was like, I only saw my dad for maybe 2 weeks out of the year every summer. I didn't meet him until I was about 4. So about 10 years of that on and off. And then I was finally like, you know, Mom, I really want to actually, you know, go get to know my real dad and, you know, just kind of see what life was like with him. And Well, it wasn't necessarily what I'd hoped it to be, but it did teach me a lot. I guess I don't know what I was expecting. He was a lot stricter and he was a little bit more, like on me about things. Like I was getting D's and F's in school at that time. It was like seventh, it was like seventh grade. I don't remember what it was, but I was not trying in school. And my dad like really forced it into me and really told me like, this is what your life is going to be like, blah, 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 and like this and that. And so, I actually was on the AB honor roll when I was with him. So I knew I could like push myself, like to be, smart and, this and that. But I also, that whole year, the reason why I had D's and F's and this, not because I was focusing on boys. And my dad kind of knew I was like really open, and he stopped that. So like I had like one boyfriend. I think I had like the first time I ever had like a steady boyfriend. And I remember, I remember it now. I remember Halloween. It was around this time Halloween, like years and years and years ago. I remember touching his penis for the first time. And it was probably like, I don't know. It just made me realize like who I was, that I missed boys and this and that. And so I think my dad didn't like him, so I broke up with him. And then I focused on my friends in school and stuff. And then eventually I found this guy. Ironically, I think he had the same name as my other boyfriend or my other dude. But he was like really, really into me and like sex wise, and we actually like did it. And then it flipped a switch, and I called my mom and was like, I want to come home. Like, I want to go back to Minnesota. I don't like living here. I'm just like over it. And
so
she's
basically made you like realize that you wanted your sexual freedom back.
But the thing is, like, it was either be with my dad where things would be easy and I just do things his way, or be with my mom and actually like live life and go through what you go through, what you got to deal with. Like, I learned a lot because moving back with my mom, she was in a situation where she'd lost her job. She was working where she was living, so she also lost her house, like where she lived. So she was hitting up guys online, like Craigslist, like asking to stay with them. And she met this guy. He was like, yeah, I've got a trailer, you can stay in. And then she ends up getting there, right? And this other dude is living in his trailer. He's like, oh, well, you can stay with me. Luckily, she like was into him, like attracted to him. So she ended up living in this camper with him and his 3 kids. And then I come in the picture, like, Mom, hey, I'm back. And then, my mom was like comfortable, like not comfortable, but she was like trying to get out of there. Her car was about to get like repossessed and all that. Like we had to take the battery out of her car so they wouldn't find us. All that, like I think the best way to explain my life in a way would be if you watch the show Shameless. Like that's how.
Never seen it, but I've been told to watch it.
That's our life in a nutshell. Like I'm Fiona. But no, so I realized, the situation wasn't for us. And I ended up, getting a job. That was my first job, McDonald's. And I worked there for like not even 2 weeks or not even a month. And I was giving all my money to my mom because she was driving me out there and she needed all the money. Like I didn't need anything. Like I just asked her to, bring me to the store so I can get like a bathing suit because we were constantly going on the river and tubing down it and stuff. But I learned how to drive a car there, like, or really like not really learn, but I got my permit and stuff. But that was my practice, and I got my permit because we moved to my aunt's house, and then, we were there for about a year, and then we ended up moving again, and that's when we were kind of like officially, we were set up, we were good, we were living our lives, and then, when I turned 18, I came out to to LA, and
So
my
that's like
dad kind
hear
of
what you're telling me. Like it seems
accepted
like
me.
that, like being in Indianapolis and
Yeah.
going back and forth and going through that struggle is what really made you strong for the craziness that is the industry and the craziness that you go through now. You know, just in general. So it was necessary for you to do that to get where you are now.
And I believe in that. I know that it was all meant to be. Like I don't know if I would be where I am today if I hadn't learned those lessons that I did. You know, like I'm also, I feel like I'm kind of, not necessarily better off, but in a way, because I would have been held back, or I would have just been forced to do, or just, been led into do something I didn't want to really do. Like I was going to finish school. I was going to actually go to college in Indiana. I was thinking about, all this and all that. And I wanted to, kind of have a life with, like even after going to my dad's, like going to Indiana and then going back to my mom. And then at a certain point, I realized I was going to give my dad another shot, that I got my rebellion out, my little, that side of me. And I was just going to go just school and just do that because he was going to pay for it and this and that. And he was like, I really want to, help you in your success and in your future. And then I told him I wanted to do this. And actually, I didn't really tell him. It kind of happened when I first did my shoot. I think it was a picture that was in my amateur allure shoot, and I posted it on Instagram, connected it to my real Facebook. And even though I made a for my alias, I made a Facebook and a Twitter and Instagram all for my alias, but somehow it connected to my real Facebook. So my aunt saw it, my tits out and everything, and she sent it to my dad. My dad saw it, and he called my mom, cussed her out, and said the most.
Yeah.
It made me disown him. He said the most, like, I don't know. It was just hard because he blamed her. It was her fault that I'm a prostitute, that I'm a whore, and that, it's all her fault if she hadn't dated so many guys and done this and that. I'm like, dude, you know what? Fuck you. Like, love you, but apparently you don't love me enough to, like, still, like, this is fucked up. So I said, get out of here. If you can't respect me and my mom, and this is my choice in my life, then get out of here. And he did. Like, he just kind of never really, I mean, I think here and there we kind of, he did kind of out of nowhere, like text me, like hello. And it's more like family stuff because something happened to one family member. So he's like, hey, contact so-and-so. And so I did, and, but I'm better off for it. I feel like it may not sound like it, but I am. Like, because I kind of did just talk about it the other day. Like, if he were to come in my life today and sit there and say, hey, I love you, I miss you, I'm sorry for what I did, I shouldn't have acted like that, sure, I would accept him in my life, but would he have say in what I do? No. I feel like he would still try to, like,
because
bother me.
Because at the end of the day,
stop doing porn. You can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like, nah.
At the end of the day,
I'm gonna wait of my life when I'm, like, all set up, like I have a house, like I'm good, like I'm not where I want to be in life yet for him to be, like, back in. But I have everything I have to support me. My mom, my mom's side of the family, like, they love me, they support me, and even at this point, some of them are wanting to get in. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I talked to my cousin, and she was just like, this quarantine shit is,
I mean, that's what a lot of people are doing right now. Like, even with their OnlyFans, it's like, oh, I'm gonna dip my toe into this. And I know people who have done, so they call it not customs, but when you just do a scene with somebody, and it's just trades, whatever you call that word, whatever you call the word they're doing, did a trade with somebody, and, like, they're just dipping their toe inside of it just so they can, like, at least start. And then when it got tested and everything, and it's just like so many people are doing this. But at the end of the day, like, when like you should have expected that a little bit from how strict he was in Indy. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it kind of makes sense. But like at the end of the day, you are an adult. What you do with your body, what you do with your body is your body. It's your body.
Yeah, I feel like, that'd be more understood now than ever. But,
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all love. At the end of the day, I'm happy where I am. I wouldn't change anything. Everything happened the way it did for a reason. I feel more love than I could ever by everybody in this industry, by my best friend. And the most important is myself. I feel love for myself. And I think that by the end of the day is again, most important. Like if you don't love yourself, then, you're going to always feel like nobody's going to love you, or, that you're not worthy of this. And like, I never, ever in my life felt like I was not worthy. I had that maybe when I was in middle school or whatever, where I felt, like I had my moments. I think quarantine has kind of put me back in that mindset of remembering like what it was like to be in a state of mind where I felt like I was stuck. But remembering that, hey, once I turned 18, I'm on cruise control, like I can do whatever I want, when I want, this and that. And then, like as you get older and over, even 21, then boom, everything opened up, tenfold. Like I could do, I could order a drink in the middle of, the airport, like, and just chill and feel like, and, and relax and whatnot. And, just the simple things we're kind of missing out on. Like we miss traveling. We miss that get up in the morning, you got to rush to the airport and then, do your thing. Like we miss that. Luckily, I just hit up some feature agents and they say that there's some things going on soon. So hopefully,
I used to go bowling with a few different porn performers every Wednesday. And it's like, I really, really miss that. And then we start karaoke. I miss the mess out of that. Yeah. And it's just like, those are the main two social things I did.
Yep.
And now it's like, I have nothing.
Yeah.
Sit at home all day and play video games. So, but yeah, here you are 7 years later after dealing with all that. You won multiple awards. You've been nominated for multiple awards. You have thousands upon thousands of fans who really, love and support in everything you do. So, I mean, you've done a lot in your career. People love you and they'll continue loving you because of your personality, who you are as a person, and everything you have to offer in general.
Thank you.
I want you to make sure.
I love being real and being honest and just being as natural, and it's free and open. It's just a good time with me. Like you can be on my sites and you can, know that obviously if we're in that moment of, sex, or it can be just a moment of, we're just talking about anything and everything. Like I have my favorites, my regulars, the people that I know that, text me, any time of day. It can be any time or whatever. They know that I'll respond, and we can, again, it's just quarantine has, put it in perspective, reminded us who we are, reminded us that, the world, hopefully is not going to end, like there's still life going on. You just got to kind of create it for your own right now. I feel like a lot of things would just kind of come at us right now, like before all this happened, and you're just so busy, it was just coming at you. And then now it's just like, there's nothing. So you got to kind of create it on your own. But yeah, no, it's good. I love my fans. I wouldn't be where I am today without you guys. And yeah, it's been quite an experience, going through quarantine and all that. But it's so good to be back. I just did a couple of scenes, for Cherry Pimps, and I actually just worked for a company the other day that I never worked with before, and they were really cool because it's like when you prepare for like anal, when you go to anal, it's like you got to be in your mind about it. You got to prepare. You got to, be careful what you eat and what you don't eat and stuff. So it was kind of the same thing. It was like a scene that was based off of like when you gag on a dick, a lot of girls throw up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I just I swallow it and I feel like, oh no, no one wants to see that. Like no one wants to see chunks on a dick and all this and that. But this company, they do. They love it. So they gave me a bunch of apples and water, and I threw up all over this guy's dick the entire scene. And he was just so funny because I don't know if we're gonna get to one of the questions, but I remember one of the questions in there was who was the funniest person on set. And I don't know if it's just because I haven't worked with a lot of people because of quarantine or what, but I couldn't remember the last person that was on set just shouting just the most not necessarily absurd, but just random things that you would never expect here in a porno. And I can't even reiterate any of the things that we said, but the director was in on it, and he was just oh yeah, you like being fucked like Taylor Swift's lookalike. Yeah, you like, yeah, I like that. I'm yeah, there's something about country singers, and I'm just yeah, I'm your Taylor Swift, and I said it wrong, and I said Twailer, and he made fun of me for it, and he's yeah, get that Twailer dick. And I'm oh my god, I don't even know what's going on right now. And I'm just sitting there with puke and slobber all of my mouth. Just repeating everything, they're kind of throwing out all this shit to say. I'm just saying it. I don't even know what was going on, but that's gonna be really good. It's for Black Payback. It was so good. I can't even. His name, my talent that day was Ray Black, and I've never worked with him before. And oh my god, he was so hilarious. I don't know if he does that all the time or if it was just
He's one who I bowl with.
Huh?
He's one who I go bowling with.
Do you?
I say I go bowling with people, performers.
Do you?
It's Ray Black, Scotty P, Steve Holmes.
Tell him when you do that, when you guys do go on set again or go bowling again, that when we were on set, just tell him that was hilarious. I loved it.
I don't know when we'll go again. I know I messaged Steve Holmes about it the other day saying that I miss, because we haven't did this since March. So here it is in October, and it's that was my weekly exercise, and now I can't do it anymore.
Oh.
But a lot of people are getting really into puking a lot more. I don't get it, but I understand.
Yeah.
So
I know the feeling, but yeah, when I was doing it, I was just it's weird. I have a switch. Once my switch is on and I'm in that switch and I'm in it. But if we're say we pause for too long because we got to do something or whatever, I'm we got to keep going or I'm going to lose it. I'm going to not lose it, go crazy. I'm going to lose my sex drive of this. And then you're going to get a totally different reaction out of me.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I was just you guys, we got to hurry. Cause eventually there was a moment where I couldn't do it at all. It wasn't coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it started coming out. And then we kept kind of not cutting. We would cut here and there to clean up the floor so no one would slip and bust open a head. But because literally it was
that'd be a whole different story.
It was so
about a mark.
I loved it. Yeah. But no, we were just every time we paused, I would feel the feeling. And then I'm wait, start rolling, all over his dick. And then we weren't even he wasn't even near me, and all of a sudden I just threw up all over myself. Sitting there just doing nothing. I was what? It was interesting, that's for sure. But, oh yeah, I hadn't had any big black cock over quarantine, and I got 3 out of 4 gigs in the last week or two were nothing but. So, we got scenes with Isaiah Maxwell coming out, and then for a really, really good one, we got we did for Babes. Small Hands and I did a scene, and then John, and then Ray Black and I just did a scene. So
who fancy football with Isaiah Maxwell?
Yeah, for sure.
So
hopefully,
I've known Isaiah since he was just a talent scout. So I'm glad his career is going the way that it's going.
Yeah, no, he's such a sweetheart.
So, but
ladies soon, because I haven't had pussy in my mouth for a while.
You.
But
quarantine has destroyed what little bit I did get in my life. So I get it. Quarantine isn't fun right now for my sex drive.
See, and that's exactly what I'm here for. For those, that are
for those out there who are like me that ended up being single right before quarantine, and you can't go out and meet anybody new because of quarantine. Look at Jillian Janson's film.
A lot of people got quarantine best friend like I did, so I can't.
But all the people I hang around are dudes right now. It's like
you have to change that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, all the females I'm around, they're either preoccupied with somebody else or they're in Vegas still.
Yeah.
And it's like, it sucks. So, but that's life. So if you're like me, go on her page, look at every way you could, support her, subscribe to her OnlyFans, and you could, release your tension, so to speak. So, Ms. Janson, please tell everybody where they can find you, where they can support you. Like, this is the end podcast, so I want everybody to know where they can find you, support you, so, like, get anything and everything from you, because from the people who listen to this, you're a very engaging person. You're very funny. You're very hilarious. You're very smart. Like, they won't be able to see your smile right now, but she has the most wonderful smile that you have to, just love. So please say where they can
screenshot and post it on my Twitter and tag you when you post an interview. Because I'm like, I'm looking good right now.
You are. You're looking fabulous. We don't use video because like it's a whole thing. But some people like they want the sign and all the other crap like that. And I'm like, just to jump that step, I won't use video. Even though I have our first 6-7 episodes we recorded it, and then after that we didn't. So because I was in person, it was in North Hollywood.
It makes it a lot easier when since some people are kind of going back to work, and especially LA traffic is somewhat getting back to normal, so definitely gives people a chance to like just listen to it in their cars or and just enjoy. And and then when you get home you can check me out on OnlyFans, and you can find me on, I guess the best way to look me up is Twitter, XO Jillian Janson. Sometimes I might get shadow banned, so you got to click on like other people's names or pictures to if I'm tagged in it and whatnot. But the best way I think is to go to Jillian Janson xxx.com. It has everything available. You can just go click on my OnlyFans or my Sex Panther links, or if you want to, if you don't have any of those other sites and you just want to email me if you have a request, such as custom or Skype show, or if you want me to send you, a pair of heels or something that I wore in a scene or something, anything like that, I definitely cater to my fans. And I appreciate you all, and thank you for getting me through quarantine, and I hope I've done the same.
And everybody out there, you want to follow us, we are the Burbank Misfits on Instagram, Burbank Misfits on Facebook and on Twitter. I am RAWSTARR on Twitter and on Instagram. But everybody out there, I want you all to go out and support her in every single way. Like you can tell just from this, she's amazing. She's awesome, and you will not be disappointed in anything and everything you find with her. If just look her up, and she has a list of everything that she's in. She is not. I forgot what I was going to say. She is not nominated for no reason. So it just shows you there, like, people out there love her, and so will you. So please listen to us next week. We're actually gonna have our first TS on next week, and it should be an interesting conversation. So please just make sure you check her out, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Love you guys.